What's up, everyone? Beast Mode back here with another video. So today I just wanted to showcase the deck list that I played in the RBET 2 that just passed this weekend. First things first, actually, I am going to be at YCS Philly on Saturday this weekend. Just Saturday, it turned into a family event, so Sunday I will be doing other things out in Pennsylvania. But I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday, play a lot of Edison, maybe win a mat or two, I'm hoping. I'm really play testing for the in-person RBET, which will be on June 10th. I'm already booked and ready to fly across the country to play in that. So I'm using Philadelphia as a good place to test some in-person Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I don't get to play a lot of that. And really look forward to meeting a lot of you guys there. So if you see me, please swing on by and say hi. I should have some type of shirt or something. You'll be able to find me, definitely. And so that was number one. Number two, I actually wasn't going to be playing in this tournament this weekend at all. I had a family party that I was planning for, and then the weather got really bad, so it was moved to Sunday. So Saturday ended up opening up for me, and I didn't really play test a lot of zombie like tech. I know JG was testing a lot with DD Crow in the main deck, and testing different card choices and ratios, and I just didn't really have the mindset of playing because I play testing. I just wasn't going to play. So last minute opened up, so I went back to good old faithful here, which is the deck I topped RBET 5 last season, Worlds, and also a teammate topped one of the Pump King with this exact list essentially. So I know I said Illblood is just a brick, and this one also includes Necrogonna, but I knew that this deck had tournament success, so I figured I'd pick it up and just roll with it again. Plus, I'm very comfortable with it. I did change up the side deck a bit, which I don't think the side deck actually came into play at all during the tournament, to be honest with you. It's just typical stuff. I knew Dragon Turbo had just topped the Edison World Qualifier, so I figured a lot of people would be picking that up, so I wanted to have Double Thunder King in the extra deck for that. Side deck rather. I always typically have some number of Smashing Ground. I just think it's a good generic removal and can kind of out a lot of tough cards like Titanial. Deep Prison, back and forth if this card should be main decked or not. It's very, very popular. It's probably better in the main, but it's hard to fit it in here. Double pulling for Monarch, double skill drain for Monarch, and it's good against Gladiator Beast as well. One Starlight Road for the Blackwing matchups. So this deck here, there is no light mirrors or anything like that for Lightsworn. So JG and I talked about this before the tournament. The reality is there's just not enough room in the extra deck or side deck for everything that you want to obviously try to stop. And I think Skill Drain is just good enough against the Fairy deck and the Chrysius one deck that it's probably all you need. Because the reality is the Light Mirror doesn't actually stop Christia, the continuous effect, which is the biggest problem for this deck. But it stops like all the fairies and all that in the graveyard effects, like the Shining Angel and the Nova Summoners. But Skill Drain stops the Christia, but doesn't stop the Recruiter. So it's kind of like one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. Depends on which one you have. And then a lot of people are siding like some number of Skill Drain and Light Mirror. So then that takes up just a lot more space in the side deck. So I think that personally, I'm not overly concerned about the Recruiters if Christia doesn't work, because that's really the goal of the deck. They crash, they drop Christia. And even if they don't drop Christia, they usually end on a DD Warrior Lady or something like that, or a Dimensional Alchemist, which sure, Dimensional Alchemist will retrieve a card from the Banish Zone if it does go to the graveyard, but like DD Warrior Lady doesn't work with Skill Drain. So I just think Skill Drain is probably all you need. And I did play I think it was a Chrysius one deck in the tournament, and I 2-0'd very quickly. I think they just drew bad, really. That's the high roll of aspect of Lightsworn in general. But I'll recap the matches really quick. And I do want to showcase my Game 3 versus a True Hero, because I want to show you how strong Deck Devastation Virus is in this format. And in the power of going first, how important it is to be able to go first. Really, this format, I think people overlook that. You don't realize it, but there are so many games that you can just win if you had gone first. So anyway, round one, I think I had a bye round one. I'm not sure how it was all set up. I think it was based on your rankings, and I've had prior tournament success, obviously. So I had a bye round one. So round two, I played against the Rose Warrior plant deck, which I think the deck is probably okay. I've never been overly impressed by it. I think the only time the deck does what it wants to do is if you can drop the power tool turn one, and then keep it on the board a couple turns to actually get the pluses you need. Because the reality is, if you summon Rose Warrior and use the Mystic Tomato, and then make the Power Tool Dragon, and then you get the Search, it's like even advantage there. Everything, you don't really get anywhere with that. And the reality is, when you see a Mark of the Rose being searched, you know it's there, so you can play around it. So I just think that the Power Tool Dragon has to stay on board a few turns, so you can generate like 1 or 2 extra searches for it to really be devastating and game breaking. And again, playing around a Mark Rose that you know is there is so much easier. It's kind of like in GOAT format where you really don't drop anything big if Snatch Steal's still around, or when you do, you have to have an out for the Snatch Steal. Same idea. So I did play that round 1 or round 2, my first match. Round 3, I believe, was the Christia Sworn or Light Sworn deck. They just didn't draw well. They weren't milling. I kept them off their milling. That's a big thing. If you can out some of the Light Sworns, Janes, even though they're only milling 2 cards, all it takes is a couple mills for them to just get rolling. So I think I did side deck in the skill drains. I just didn't see them. Round 3, trying to remember. I believe it was a Bayou Turbo. It was Bayou Turbo. That was actually a difficult match. It did go to game 3, and I did side deck against skill drain against that deck, to be honest with you, game 2. And it just came up too late. That was a problem. I saw it really late, and it actually didn't help at all. If you can see this card like turn 1 against that deck, it's really good because they can't, like Hamster, Raikou, Greffer, Armageddonite they just can't play. But you have to see it like early. But it did go to game 3, and I was able to win. And then round 5, I played Quickdraw, I believe. It was Quickdraw. So Quickdraw is one of those hit or miss decks against zombies because Quickdraw is very slow, obviously, and I play zombies pretty slow, but they typically are just better at grinding you out because of the Pot of Avarice. But the thing that Quickdraw can't do, it doesn't have that explosiveness that the zombie deck does. So if you start getting into those grindy games, it's like a mid-game point where if you can just OTK out of nowhere with the zombie deck, and if the Quickdraw player just doesn't have the Gores or Battle Fade or a Trag, they usually just lose. But obviously, if you start getting into the late game and you're not able to OTK, the Quickdraw deck typically wins that. So especially if they do the Hamster Raikou Caius play, that's one of the more devastating plays of the deck, which I've said many times. I was able to win that, and then we have round 6. So I actually played a True Hero, which many of you know. He has a YouTube channel. Check it out. Great player. Played him. This is actually the first time I ever got to play him in a tournament. And I know he was on DV Hero. He knew it was on Zombies. There's no doubt about that. And winner makes top 8. So I obviously, as it should, it went to game 3, which was great. This is our game 3 here. So if any of you guys actually saw this match on stream, it's on E3's Yugioh channel. He streamed the event, obviously, Keegan. So what happened here is I lost a dice roll, or the rock, paper, scissors, to initially start the game, the match rather. And so he went first. He won game 1, killed me like second turn. I won game 2, and now game 3 he gets to go first. So this hand actually is like not very, very good, but decent enough. Like this is a good hand for this is a beast mode hand. This is what I like to say. This is a hand that I want to sit here and play and like grind out the game and really just generate a lot of advantage because you have so many. You have a starter, you have Tragodia, so you don't just get OTK'd. Necrogonic you can use to pitch with Tragodia here or pitch it with Allure. So, and of course a little piece of defense. So this is actually a really good starting hand. And I'm sure if you guys can see my opponent's opening hand here, obviously this is really, really good, right? Future Fusion, Deck Devastation, Virus, Dark Arm. Obviously Plague with the Future Fusion. So his hand's infinitely better than mine. Plus he knows what he's doing with the deck. So we'll see what he does here. So obviously the second he searches Greffer, I know for a fact he has Stratos in his hand. But I can't do anything right now. Obviously he went first. So this is the first turn of the game. And when I see he goes into Darken, I know that Deck Devi's coming down, but I can't stop it. So people start saying that and we'll see here when I draw. People say, well, you can side deck My Body. So this is a prime example why My Body just doesn't do anything because I don't have anything on the field. So you literally can't play against this. And of course I draw a Sangan here. So as you can see what's happening here, Tragodia in Edison format is, it's a question mark, but it dies to Deck Devastation. So I lose my entire hand almost. And now he knows my 2 cards. And also this is the worst card right now in this situation because if I activate it, I have to pitch anything I draw off of Deck Devastation Virus. So this card is essentially blank right now. You can't play this card on a Deck Devi. It's useless. So I have 1 card to deal with, and he knows what it is. So unfortunately, this is how the game ends sometimes. And of course, he has perfect 3 darks. Like, he set this up perfect. He's a great player. He drew well, but he played it well. Like, he played it the right way, went into the right combos, and obviously drops Dark Arm here, and is going to... you just get rid of that sound. It's probably a little loud. And it kills a D Prison, obviously. So I'm thinking to myself, there's 1 card I can top deck that gets me out of this situation, which is Brain Control. That's it, really. So, and he knows what I have here, so he's just playing extremely aggressive. Plus, he gets to see what I draw. So, and then searches a DD Crow, which is key here because he's keeping me off of. He sees I have 3 or 4 darks, but he knows if there's any chance of me doing anything, it could be a dark arm play. Also, if I don't Necro Gardener this following turn here, which we'll get into, he can just DD Crow it on his end phase, and then I just lose. So he's searching the right cards. He's playing well. Right here, I Necro Gardener because I know that if I don't Necro Gardener now, he's just going to pitch it on his turn, and I'm going to lose if I draw anything here. So we Necro Garden that to keep ourselves alive, and we need to draw Brain Control. Luckily, we actually do draw Brain Control. So I lose 5 cards or 4 cards to Deck Devi, but I get rewarded with a Brain Control. Probably a little too late at this point, but it does help the situation here. So let's see what we do. We show the Brain Control, and of course, we're going to just slam it. So in this situation here, you don't want to pop 2, because if I pop 2, if I pop and destroy the Android, I pop and kill the Future Fusion, he's going to DD Crow the last one, and then I give him back Dark Arm. So we just attack here. Unfortunately, we don't get to do any more damage, but the reality is we're not trying to OTK or even the damage is irrelevant at this point. We're just trying to stabilize and get ourselves back into the game. So we just attack because this is the right play. We run this over, and then we're just going to remove 2 to pop the board. So I'm thinking to myself right now that he probably has Stratos in his hand. It's possible that he doesn't because he didn't summon it last turn, and I know he has DD Crow. So in this situation here, I have one more turn of Deck Devi, and he has a DD Crow and likely a Stratos, but I don't know for sure. I'm hoping it's not Stratos because if he just has DD Crow in his hand, we're actually pretty even right now, and I could get back into this game. Granted, he still hasn't played any Future Fusion, I'm sorry, not Future Fusion, Miracle Fusion. So he still has so much gas left in his deck, and he still has Treeborn. So he's really up like 3 or 4 cards on me still, but like, what am I going to do in this situation? So draw, and he does have Strato. So I'm just, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, like, can he just have a little less gas? I might be able to get back into this game. So he just, and then I hit the 5th card that Deck Devi destroyed here. And unfortunately, that leaves me at 2 darks. He has the DD Crow that for the Plague at any time. So at this point in time, I think to myself, if I allure, I'm going to likely lose anyway. And if I don't allure, there's a chance he just summons another monster and kills me. But I think to myself that the best case scenario here, if I even want to get back into this game, is just hold the allure until I'm not under Deck Devi and hope that he doesn't have another monster. So that's what I do. I don't just blind allure here because if I hit any monster, like, where am I going to get? I draw 2 cards. If one of them is a 1500 or less, it goes to the graveyard, and I have to banish the other one. Like, I just don't get anywhere. So this is the right play, in my opinion. Just hold the allure and roll with the chances that he doesn't have another monster to kill me, and he doesn't. So this actually works out. And now this is it here. So let's see what we get. So we draw a Dark Arm, but we have 2 darks. And even if it was at 3 darks, he's just going to DD Crow. He's a great player. He's not going to give me a chance to get back in this game. And even if I had 3 darks and he doesn't DD Crow, he has Torrential down. He has answers, so it's not going to matter. But he's not going to let me get on 3 darks. So we now at this point can allure freely, and we hit 2 dead cards. Essentially, pulling the rug is great against Diva Hero if you get to go first, or if I had drawn this maybe earlier and was able to stop a Stratos. But at this point, we kind of draw 2 dead cards. Honestly, there's not really anything I can get back into this game with. Maybe if I draw a Mystic Tomato or a Pyramid Turtle and set it. But honestly, I'm just so far down. It's not going to matter at this point. But you just can't scoop it up. You're in game 3 and you're trying to get into top 8 for an invite here. You got to try to play to your outs and just play the card game, and hopefully you draw. Maybe if I did hit a tomato here, it might actually do something because he doesn't actually have an immediate answer to it. But this is my philosophy. If you are a good player and you're up plus 4 or 5 cards on your opponent at this point, he's up 5 cards. It's very unlikely I'm going to win this game. Especially since I've already brain controlled, like, Dark Arm's gone. I don't have any power cards left. He still has full Miracle Fusions. That's just the reality of it, and it was unfortunate that I just didn't really get a chance to play this game because I think it would have been a great game. But Deck Devi is extremely powerful right now, and he's main decking this one. and which is smart because his deck can utilize it well, and it just shuts down so many decks. It's not that great against Blackwings, but it blows out frogs. It can blow out zombies at times, depending on what's in your hand. Of course, Book of Life is a great top deck at times if you know hit a bunch of goblin zombies and stuff. But and going first really made a difference here, because if I was able to go first, I could have allured, maybe set Mystic Tomato. I had a deep prison. You know, it definitely changes the course of the game, big time. But again, it is what it is. You're going to go first sometimes, you're going to go second sometimes. So anyway, this just goes to show you how powerful that deck Devi is right now, and it's extremely popular in sideboards with decks that can utilize it, like Value, Blackwings. Diva Hero obviously can utilize it well. He's main decking one. He's able to get it off pretty consistently. So that was actually, I ended up going into like top 12 or top 16 losers bracket, and I played a Blackwing player, Yondami, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. And that was on Sunday. So I actually really shouldn't have, I almost couldn't play at all on Sunday, to be honest with you. Was like setting up for the party that was postponed and this, that, and the other. So I was able to squeeze in the match. He played extremely well. I drew dead game one and like lost second turn. Game two, I kind of missequenced cards. I was like all over the place, scattered, and he was making extremely good reads. So he's definitely played superior that day. He was a great player. So that was kind of my tournament run in a nutshell. I know a lot of people don't really watch all of the game replays I was doing initially. So I'm just doing a quick tournament recap. This is the build. I'm not sure if I'm on this build anymore. This was kind of just went back to this because I had no time. And I want to really shout out a true hero because he played well and deserved the top. He didn't, you can say, oh, you got sacked. No, I didn't get sacked. He played his cards. That's just how it works, right? Sure, I would have liked to be able to have a little bit more interactive game, but you know how many games I've won like that? We've all won games like that. So anyway, I look forward to seeing everybody in Philly. There should be a video coming out Friday for more War League content. We're going to week one is underway right now. I think Snack and myself are going to kind of review some of the games and talk about predictions for next week. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.